Mm. So this is your like dissertation,
Yeah,
kind of.
this is actually just the small. This is just a small module,
Oh right,
but
right,
it's something that I lived next to the canal
right,
all my life and had
right.
no idea like the significance of it. So I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
I'd like to
yeah.
tell the story if I can. So
Yeah, why
this is
not?
a perfect
Why not?
chance.
Yeah.
Um, so David, thanks
Right.
for meeting with me. I wonder if you could just firstly share a bit of history about the canal. We're at the Fiddler's Ferry section here. What is so important about this canal?
Well, this was the first industrial canal in England, 1757.
Mhm.
So predates all the other canals, and it was something that's quite special. It was designed by Henry Berry, who was Liverpool's second dock engineer, and he got his ideas really from Thomas Steers, the
Mhm.
first dock engineer in Liverpool. Thomas Steers is quite famous. He rebuilt the Liverpool city walls uh, during the first Jacobite rebellion in around about 1714. And he also designed the dock, the old dock in Liverpool as well. So he was quite yeah, special engineer really. He was
Yeah.
self-taught as well, you know. So Henry Berry came along, and he's a bit later down the line, obviously in the 18th century, and he was commissioned to construct the canal.
And what happened to the canal in the end?
Well, it was very successful during its lifetime. As soon as it opened, it was bringing in the revenue. Really, it was all kinds of industries. It was
Mhm.
the coal that Liverpool needed, really, from the South Lancs coalfield. And apart from that, many industries kind of flocked to the banks of the canal after that. You had the glass works, obviously, St Helens, it's famous for its glass. You had potteries, you had tanneries,
Mhm.
boat building, obviously. There was chemical works, and obviously Widnes, Spike Island was quite famous for its chemical works, its chemical industry. So there's many industries popped along the banks of the canal, just taking advantage of the barges that were working the canal. It was actually constructed for the Mersey Flats. I don't know if you know about the Mersey Flats at all.
I'm not familiar.
All right. Well, the Mersey Flats are a local craft,
Right.
um, obviously for the Mersey,
Yeah.
and they were flat bottomed barges,
Right.
and they were designed for the Mersey estuary because when the tide goes out in the Mersey, it's famous for its sandbanks that just appear,
Mhm.
and so the Mersey Flats can just settle on the sandbanks, wait for the tide to come back in. So this was like a localized craft. Um, so it was constructed for that, and indeed these Mersey Flats, there's still some buried in the canal where it's filled in.
Okay.
It's quite interesting, and there's a couple kind of bobbing up and down on the banks of Spike Island.
Mhm.
You know, you can see like some wrecks there of at least one Mersey flat anyway. You know, that's broken up. So yeah, very interesting for navigation as well.
And so, what year did the canal stop functioning as a working canal? You talk about its success as a working canal, but
Yeah,
eventually that success appears to have ended because, as you say, a lot of the canal's now filled in.
yeah.
Um, what time did that happen and why did that happen?
Well, that was around about 1963 when it completely closed. It was in decline before that. There was a section north of Newton Common,
Mhm.
all the way to St Helens, that was closed down in the 1930s. The only trade then was the Sankey Sugar Works, which was based in Earlstown,
Yeah.
right on the banks of the canal. So that continued till the early 60s, well, the late 50s really, and that kind of eased off. And by the early 60s, the canal was just closed down. After that, parts were filled in. By the time we get to the 1970s, the mid 70s, it's going into decline, and there was different landfill schemes really that popped up by the councils, especially Warrington Borough Council They did the Winnick landfill scheme, which
Yeah.
basically used the stretch of the canal for tipping. So that, you know, they sold, you know, that kind of opportunity, you know, come and tip your waste in here, and that filled in the canal, you know. So when it comes to possibility of reopening the canal, that's one of the major problems now, you know, because we don't know what's in there. There's all kinds of stuff.
Wow, I hadn't
So
even thought of that being an issue, but that's
yeah, yeah.
quite serious.
Mm.
Can you now